What if I told you something that might sound unsettling at first, yet holds the key to transforming your entire life? That most of your problems, the stress that keeps you awake at night, the anger that rises in your chest, the regrets that weigh on your shoulders, don't actually come from the outside world at all. They don't come from traffic, or from a rude comment, or from the unpredictable chaos of daily life. They come from something far closer, something much more personal, the way you react to it all. Think about that for a moment. A careless word spoken in passing can ignite a firestorm in your heart. One look of contempt from someone you barely know can sour an entire day. And a single impulsive email, typed in a burst of emotion and sent without a second thought, can haunt you for weeks or even months. Haven't we all been there? You hit send too fast, or you lash out with words you didn't really mean, and suddenly, the consequences linger far longer than the moment itself. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies show that nearly 90% of our daily decisions are not guided by calm reasoning, but driven by raw emotion. We like to believe we're rational creatures, but in reality, we are emotional beings who occasionally dip into reason, not the other way around. And yet, more than 2,000 years ago, the Stoics already understood this truth. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Sit with that thought. Real strength isn't in how quickly you clap back, how fast you react, or how sharp your words are. Strength is found in the rare ability to hold back, to choose not to react, to stand still in the middle of a storm. In today's world of constant noise, buzzing phones, relentless notifications, and emotional traps waiting around every corner, this isn't weakness, it's the highest form of power. It's the essence of Stoicism itself. So let me ask you, wouldn't you like to build a kind of calm that no chaos can break? Wouldn't you like to carry an inner stillness so solid, so unshakable, that no insult, no setback, no random twist of fate could throw you off balance? If that sounds like something you want, then stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to share with you the timeless Stoic practices that can change the way you live, the way you decide, and even the way you breathe. And if along the way you find value in these ideas, I invite you to subscribe, so you never miss the next lesson, because each lesson is a brick, and together they build a fortress of inner strength. Now, let's begin with rule number 1, the sacred pause. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." It sounds simple, doesn't it? But let's look deeper. What is this delay? What is this pause? It's not an hour-long meditation, not even a full minute. Sometimes it's just a few seconds. But in those few seconds, destinies can change. A pause can save a marriage. A pause can preserve a friendship. A pause can prevent a reckless financial mistake that might take years to repair. And yet, modern life tries to convince us of the opposite. We're told that speed is strength. Quick replies show competence. Instant reactions show confidence. Fast judgments show decisiveness. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Speed without wisdom is not strength. It's chaos, dressed up as power. It's fire without direction. The pause, on the other hand, is not weakness. It is a shield, an invisible, silent shield of the strong. Picture this. A business leader wakes up to devastating news. Stocks are crashing. Headlines are screaming. Social media is erupting with criticism. One leader, untrained in the art of the pause, reacts instantly. Defensive words pour out, angry statements are made, fear drives his decisions, and the result? Trust collapses. The damage multiplies, and what began as a crisis turns into a catastrophe. But another leader, equally intelligent, equally experienced, takes the pause. He steps back, he breathes, he consults his advisors, he doesn't let fear write the script, and when he finally speaks, his words carry calm, precision, and clarity. The difference isn't in their intelligence. The difference isn't in their education. The difference is the pause. The pause restores confidence. The pause saves the day. The pause is the difference between chaos and leadership. So how do we practice this sacred pause? The Stoics gave us something profoundly simple: the rule of 3 breaths. The next time your blood rises, when your chest tightens, when you feel that burning urge to strike back, do this. Stop, inhale deeply, hold it, exhale slowly, and then do it again. And once more. By the 3rd breath, the fire has cooled just enough. The fog begins to lift. Your nervous system resets, and suddenly, reason has space to speak. What felt urgent a moment ago now feels manageable. What seemed like a storm now looks like a passing cloud. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of this daily. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. That's what the pause gives you, the chance to take back your estimate, to rewrite the meaning you attach to what happens around you. The pause is not silence, it is power. The pause is not retreat, it is preparation. Every single time you choose the pause, you are choosing wisdom over impulse, freedom over slavery, strength over chaos. And that leads us naturally to rule number 2, the mirror of truth. Because here's the reality: every reaction you have is not just about the world outside. It's about the world within. Every reaction is a reflection. It's a mirror, showing you the state of your inner world. When someone presses your buttons, it's not really about the button. It's about what lies beneath. The Stoic teacher Epictetus explained it clearly. When someone provokes you, be sure it is your own opinion which provokes you. Think about that. It is not the insult itself that wounds you. It's the meaning you give to it. After reflecting on the previous idea, that true power lies not in silencing the world but in mastering yourself, we now step into a deeper layer of Stoic wisdom. When someone provokes you, be sure it is your own opinion which provokes you. These words carry a quiet thunder, because it is not the insult itself that truly hurts. It is not the sound of the word, nor the sharpness of the tone, nor even the intention behind it. What cuts deepest is the story you begin to tell yourself about that insult. Think about it. If anger consumes you the moment someone mocks or dismisses you, it is not their voice that has chained you. It is pride, still ruling over you like a hidden tyrant. If rejection crushes your spirit, leaving you broken and lost, it means your sense of worth was built on fragile ground. And if small delays leave you restless, pacing the floor with agitation, perhaps patience is still a virtue you have not yet cultivated. Every reaction you have is not just a reaction. It is a signal. Imagine a flare shot into the night sky, bright, sudden, impossible to ignore. That flare points directly to the wound within you. Yet most people never stop to see it. They ignore these signals. They rush to assign blame. They point outward instead of inward. They made me angry. They ruined my day. They pushed me too far. But notice how each of these statements secretly hands away your power. The Stoic path teaches a reversal. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" you ask, "Why did I give them that power in the first place?" That is where the shift begins. Because instead of drowning in shame over your reactions, you start to study them. You learn from them. You let each surge of emotion become a teacher whispering truths you might otherwise never face. Think of it this way. Anger is not just noise. It is a sign that your ego is speaking too loudly. Fear is not just trembling. It is a whisper telling you that your trust in yourself is too small. Sadness is not just heaviness. It is a revelation that something you deeply value is left unguarded. Exposed to loss. These emotions are not curses sent to torment you. They are invitations, gentle but firm invitations, to grow. So the next time you feel provoked, do not rush into battle. Do not strike back with the same fire. Instead, pause. Ask yourself 3 simple but piercing questions. What exactly am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling it? And what truth about me does this reaction reveal? Let's imagine this in practice. Someone looks you in the eye and calls you a liar. Now, if you know in your heart that you have been honest, the insult rolls off you like water off stone. You shrug it away and move on. But if the word burns inside you, if it gnaws at you, if it keeps echoing in your mind long after the moment has passed, then something deeper is at play. Maybe dishonesty once lived in your past, and the word awakens an old wound you never healed. Or perhaps your reputation, the way others see you, has come to matter more than the quiet truth you know about yourself. In that moment, the insult is no longer just a word. It becomes a mirror, and the mirror does not lie. It shows you the work you still need to do. Even Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher, reminded himself of this. He wrote, "If someone can show me that what I think or do is not right, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth." Notice the humility here. He did not see correction as an attack. He did not armor himself against it. He welcomed it. For him, criticism was not a dagger, it was a tool. A chisel to refine his soul. Your reactions, then, are your responsibility. And responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Because once you claim ownership of your reactions, you are no longer tossed around by the world. You are no longer a puppet to the insults, delays, and disappointments of others. The world stops being your enemy. Every insult becomes feedback. Every delay becomes training. Every conflict becomes a classroom where life itself is the teacher. Of course, the mirror of truth is not always flattering. Sometimes it reveals pride, weakness, or insecurity that you would rather not face. But while it may sting, it also liberates, because only what you face can you change. Only what you acknowledge can you outgrow. This brings us naturally to the next great principle. Rule number 3. The fortress of inner peace, the art of building unshakable strength. Most people search for peace in fragile places. They build their sense of calm on wealth, on recognition, on comfort, on control. But what happens when wealth slips away? When praise goes silent? When comfort is stripped from you? What happens when the world no longer bends to your will? In those moments, their peace collapses like a house of cards. Because it was never peace at all. It was dependence disguised as stability. The Stoics offered a different vision. True peace must not be borrowed from the outside. It cannot rest on things that can be taken. It must be built like a fortress within yourself, with walls of stone that no storm can breach. Marcus Aurelius expressed this beautifully. People seek retreats in the country, by the sea, in the mountains, but you can find retreat at any moment within yourself. That inner retreat is not an escape from life. It is not withdrawal or denial. It is a stronghold inside the mind, a sanctuary of calm that no thief, no critic, no misfortune can steal. Picture it. A great storm batters against the walls of a castle. The wind howls. The waves crash violently. Thunder splits the sky. Yet inside the walls, the fire still burns. The people are safe. The stone holds firm. That is what your mind can become. That is what your spirit can resemble. A castle standing strong against every storm of fortune. But this fortress can only be built if you choose to ground it in what cannot be taken. Your values, your clarity, your self-control. And so the question arises, how do we build such a fortress? The Stoics gave us a clear blueprint. First, discipline of thought. Guard your attention as fiercely as a soldier guards the gate. Because what you dwell on shapes who you become. If you feed your mind with outrage, gossip, and endless distraction, do not be surprised when your inner world grows restless and weak. But if you nourish it with wisdom, reflection, and deliberate action, you strengthen the foundations of your fortress. Second, mastery of desire. The less you need, the less anyone can take from you. True wealth is not measured by how much you possess, but by how little you require to feel complete. The person who needs little walks through life untouchable, for nothing can be stolen from them. Third, courage in adversity. Storms will come, setbacks will arrive, loss will test you, but courage transforms adversity into training. Every difficulty becomes a weight that strengthens your inner muscles. Without resistance, the fortress weakens. With it, the walls grow unbreakable. This is the architecture of inner peace. Not built in a single day, not constructed without effort, but slowly, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice, and once built, it shelters you for life. Now, let's move into the third rule: courage in adversity. Peace, in its deepest sense, is not the absence of fear. Fear will always exist in moments of uncertainty and loss. Peace means something far more powerful. It means the presence of strength. Choosing courage instead of panic is how you strengthen the walls of your inner fortress. Picture this. Someone hurls insults at you. If your peace depends entirely on their respect, then the walls you built will collapse instantly. But if your peace rests upon your dignity, your principles, and your ability to control yourself, their words lose power. They strike like arrows against solid stone, unable to pierce, unable to shatter, or imagine losing wealth, status, or reputation. If your calm is tied only to those fragile possessions, the collapse will be inevitable. But if your calm is rooted in principles that cannot be bought or stolen, then no loss can touch it. Epictetus put it in the clearest of terms: no man is free who is not master of himself. And mastery of yourself is the greatest defense you will ever build. It is not just defense, it is freedom. It is peace that no tyrant, no critic, and no storm can ever take away from you. That is why you must build your fortress every single day. Train your mind as a soldier trains before battle. Guard it as fiercely as you would guard the gates of a city under siege. Because storms will come, they always do, and when they arrive, your peace will not be shattered. You will not fall. You will stand unbroken, because the true fortress is not built of stone, but within your own mind. And now we arrive at rule number 4, emotional Aikido. Most people believe strength means resistance, fighting harder, pushing back, meeting force with equal force. But the Stoics, like masters of martial arts, understood a deeper truth. Real strength is not always found in clashing head-on. Often, it is found in redirection. In Aikido, the purpose is not to overpower the attacker in direct combat. The goal is to use their energy, to flow with it, and to transform it into balance. And the same principle applies to our emotions. Anger, fear, sadness. These are not enemies to crush. They are energies to redirect. Think of anger. Left unchecked, it destroys relationships, clouds judgment, and burns the soul from the inside out. But when redirected, anger becomes courage, determination, and an unshakable drive to fight for justice or to persist toward a worthy goal. Fear too can paralyze. It can freeze your every step. But fear, when redirected, becomes preparation. It sharpens your senses, it heightens awareness, and it makes you ready. Even sadness, when embraced rather than resisted, can transform into compassion, into empathy that connects you more deeply with others. Seneca reminded us, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Which means this: emotions are not destructive by nature. They only turn destructive when left without guidance. So, how can you practice emotional Aikido? First, name the emotion clearly. Say to yourself, "This is anger. This is fear. This is grief." Naming takes away part of its grip. Second, feel the energy beneath it. Notice how anger burns like fire, how fear tightens the body like a knot, how sadness rests heavy like a weight upon your chest. Third, redirect that energy towards something useful. Transform anger into fuel for self-improvement. Channel fear into a checklist for preparation. Let sadness become kindness for someone else who is hurting. This is not suppression. Suppression only drives emotions deeper into the shadows where they grow stronger. This is transformation. Nothing is wasted. Even pain can become power. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That is redirection, refusing to mirror the negativity of others, and instead, choosing to rise above it. Think of water. Water does not resist the rock, it flows around it. And over time, it shapes even the hardest stone. In the same way, you can shape your own life if you learn to redirect your emotions rather than fight them. Just as we saw earlier, by learning to redirect emotions rather than battling them, you can begin shaping your life with intention. This is emotional Aikido, the art of transforming every feeling into a source of strength. It is Stoicism in motion, the way to stop being a victim of emotions and instead become their master. Now comes rule number 5, the Phoenix Principle, rising stronger from every fall. Life will break you. That is not pessimism. It is reality. There will be betrayals, losses, and failures that shake you to your very core. But what truly defines you is not the breaking itself, but what you choose to do afterward. The Stoics never saw adversity as a curse. They saw it as a forge. Hardship is the fire, and you are the iron placed into the flames. Struck by the hammer, from that fire, you can emerge sharper, stronger, and more resilient if you choose to rise. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is not the end of the road. The obstacle is the road. Think back to your hardest moment. The day you thought you couldn't keep going. The night when grief felt unbearable. And yet here you are, breathing, listening, alive. That survival alone proves resilience already lives within you. But imagine if you didn't just survive, but rose stronger because of it. That is the phoenix principle. The phoenix, the mythic bird, burns, turns to ash, and then rises again renewed. It is not just a story, but a metaphor for the Stoic path. Pain is never wasted. Suffering is never meaningless. Every scar is a story of healing. Every fall creates the ground for rebirth. So how do you live this out? First, acceptance. Do not resist reality. Do not waste energy wishing things were different. Accept what is. Second, meaning. Ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can I grow from it? The moment you give pain a purpose, it stops being just pain, it becomes fuel. Third, rebuilding. Do not return to who you were before. Rise as someone stronger, wiser, freer. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests men. The fire may burn, but it also purifies. It burns away what is weak, so what is strong can endure." This principle does not erase sorrow. The Stoics grieved too. Marcus Aurelius mourned the loss of his children. Seneca wrote openly about his pain, but they chose to transform grief into wisdom, weakness into strength, endings into beginnings. So remember, you are not fragile glass. You are fire-forged steel. You are the phoenix. Every obstacle, every heartbreak, every fall is not the end. It is the beginning of your next rise. And here lies the conclusion. Mastering your emotions does not mean indifference. It means choosing your response with intention. The Stoics remind us, no one can rob you of your peace unless you hand it over. In today's noisy, chaotic world, inner calm is the rarest advantage. If this message resonates with you, give it a like and subscribe for more Stoic lessons. And as a commitment, type this in the comments: I choose wisdom over reaction.